As you may know, I recently purchased an abandoned Mazda RX-7, so I decided it would be a wise idea to go on Facebook Marketplace and buy myself another, because I'd done it once already. How hard could it be? So here in the engine bay, I've already encountered a couple problems. This is things that I knew about before I bought the car, but it's got 5 different battery wires. There's this positive, there's this negative, there is this positive and this negative, and then there's the fuse box wire here. So someone messed with the battery harness at some point, so I'm gonna have to fix that. The negative is there's just a ground strap down there. It's kind of not visible, but it's just like a 10mm bolt that can come out real easy. The other one's like connected to the starter, I'm pretty sure, so yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a pain. And then there's somewhere down in there a disconnected spark plug, so I need to connect that before I can start it. Then I'm gonna check all the fluids, check the air filter, make sure there's no rats in there, and then yeah, should have a hopefully running RX-7. Shouldn't be too hard. Could eat my words there, but we'll see. Also, this thing is so nice, like I can't even comprehend, like the brake dust shields are silver on it. Like I don't think I've ever seen that before. The interior, although I can't really open it, is in pretty good condition other than the driver's seat. There's zero rust under here. Like even the exhaust is not rusty. This thing was garage kept, and I'm pretty sure I'm the second owner of it. I'm not sure because the ownership situation was weird because it was owned by an old dude who started to have health problems, but I mean, just look, it's spotless down there. Like that's crazy to me. These things are notorious for rust issues, but this thing has none. And I've found one dent so far, and that dent is just, if I can even find it again. Oh, this is the one dent I've found. I don't even know if you guys can see that. There's like a teeny tiny little mark. That's the only thing. It's the only dent on this damn car. Like what? That's crazy. Who keeps one of these in that good of condition? Well, that's out. That was easy. Here I am testing for spark. As you could see, it wouldn't start before. My guess is due to no spark because it didn't even sound like it wanted to fire. Okay, so I've now replaced the leading coil pack as well as all 4 plug wires. Obviously this one's not connected, but that's just as simple as, you know, doing that. Now it's connected. Those plug wires also replaced with known good ones off my other RX-7. This coil pack and igniter, known good off my other RX-7. So hopefully something happens. If the internet's correct, I can run this off of just the leading plugs and don't have to worry about those not working. Hopefully those are fine, but it didn't even sound like the car wanted to fire at all. And before, when the other RX-7 that I have had those working, but this not working, it wanted to fire, but it couldn't quite fire. So it's questionable if this will actually work. So it's been a day since the last clip you guys saw, and I just wanted to go over in more detail my diagnostic process so far. So what I've done is I have validated that I'm not getting fuel or spark, and I've done that because I pulled a spark plug, and as you can tell, it is bone dry, and it also doesn't spark at all. Plug wires are good. I know that because I took them off of a good car. Leading coil, good, because I took that off of a good car that ran perfectly fine, and I know that that works. Crank angle sensor could be the cause. It could be the ECU. It could also be something to do with the main relay. Now, I've also gone ahead and I've checked the fuel pump by bypassing the fuel pump relay, and it makes noise, so it's not the fuel pump. It has fuel pressure, so it should start just because of that, but the injectors are not actually pushing any fuel into the engine. So the only things that could cause both the injectors to not work and the spark plugs to not work that I've found so far is the crank angle sensor isn't giving a signal, the ECU isn't giving a signal, or the main relay is bad. And it could also be that something in the wiring's fucked up, but I don't know. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and jumper the main relay, which is back in that little corner back there. Shouldn't be too hard, easiest thing, that's why I want to do it. After that I'm going to test the crank angle sensor plug over there. Then I'm going to, if that comes back fine, just clean it, see if that fixes it. And if worse comes to worse, I guess ECU is the problem. I have spare ECUs, so that's not too terrible. But yeah, so when I came and looked at the main relay harness, I noticed that it almost appears that someone has already tried to do what I'm trying to do, which is to jumper the main relay, because this is supposed to be plugged in to this connector down here, but isn't, and I don't think this is how you're supposed to jumper this. I think you can unplug the wire from the main relay and jumper it, but for now I'm just going to plug this back in, see if anything changes if I get spark, and if I do, then it's probably fixed, hopefully. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, spark plug is back in and spark plug wire is back on. Let's see if it'll start. Just like that. Unplugged wire. That's all it took. Oh. And it's dead.
Yep.
Smells like gas.
Smells like exhaust.
Now that the car runs, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put new gas as well as some more oil in the tank and then some more oil in the car because it was low on oil pressure, which is scary. So hopefully the new gas will help it run better because it's kind of running terrible right now and feels like it's misfiring and doesn't want to idle. So hopefully that'll help with that, just dilute the old gas, and I don't know. We'll see. But that's what we're going to try for now. So I came out to work on the RX-7 today, and you can probably hear all the trees blowing around behind me if you can even hear me. But my power went out because a tree just fell on the power line in front of my house. So I don't know how much I'm actually going to be able to do today because I need like a charger and jump box to keep trying to start this thing because the battery's kind of weak and the starter kind of doesn't do its job all that well. I guess I can give it a shot. So far, I have gotten the car to start. It keeps fouling plugs like pretty badly. It'll start like once after I clean them off and put them back in, but then it just refouls the plugs. So I'm gonna go ahead and just assume I got some sort of large vacuum leak. I know I have at least one, but it's a really small vacuum leak and I would be shocked if it caused the no idle. I'm gonna check vacuum lines, I'm gonna check spark plugs, I'm gonna just check if the air hose for the intake is just fucked up somehow, which it might be, I don't know. I'll figure it out, whatever, you know. But yeah, let's just go ahead and go over everything, see if I can even get it to start right now. Now I'm down to testing for vacuum leaks. I can't get it to idle, so hopefully I can fix the one that I have currently, which is this little vacuum solenoid here. The nipple is broken off in this hose. I don't know what this solenoid does exactly, but I know it's not supposed to be like that. And I have extras of the same kind from when I did an emissions delete on my truck, which is a 1990 Mazda B2200, and uses a very similar solenoid. It's the same solenoid, it just mounts backwards, so I can't actually mount it correctly, but I can at least test that that might fix the problem or not. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do that. So I've gone ahead and I've fixed a vacuum leak from that vacuum solenoid that I found. But I was also just looking around and I found a nipple on the back of the intake manifold that was not hooked up to the vacuum line that I think goes to the thermo wax. So I hooked that up, so that's 2 vacuum leaks gone. Hopefully it'll start. I also was looking at some diagrams. I couldn't exactly figure out what that solenoid does, but I think it has something to do with fuel pressure, which if it does, that would explain my flooding problem if it's not regulating the fuel pressure properly. I'm not 100% sure. I could be completely wrong about that. The diagrams for these things are a fucking nightmare to read because there's 9 billion vacuum lines. But hopefully it'll start. Hopefully it'll idle. I wouldn't trust it. Sounds like it wants to start, but I think this battery's kind of low and the jump pack won't work, and I don't have power to charge the battery, so I might have to wait until I got power again. Well, as you can see, it kind of idles, but still very poorly, so I'm going to pull the plug.
Recording started. Okay, recording started. 0. No pulses at all.
Alright, so it's been a while since I've worked on this thing. Last time that I worked on this, found out it had no compression in the rear rotor. Did an ATF treatment. That did not fully fix it and made it a little bit better, but it's still not fixed. It got kind of rainy, got kind of cold, and couldn't really work on it. And it's just been kind of sitting here under this because it's convertible and it leaks because, you know, it's a convertible. That just kind of happens. So I decided today I was going to pull out the leading spark plug on the rear rotor. Went ahead and did that, and I stuck a bore scope in there to take a look at the rotors, take a look at the apex seals, see what I can see. And what I discovered is there's a shit ton of carbon built up on the rotors, and there's what appears to me to be carbon buildup between the apex seal and the tip of the rotor. So I think this engine is still salvageable without rebuilding it. I might eat my words there, but we'll see. So I'm not gonna do another ATF treatment this time, but what I am going to do is a Seafoam treatment. I'm going to dump Seafoam into it, hope that works, and maybe I'll have compression and a running RX-7. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna set up a funnel into the rear rotor, and I'm gonna dump some Seafoam down in there, then repeat that process for every single face of the rotor, and rotate it every 6 to 8 hours or so. Come back in 24 hours, maybe a little longer, and see if it's fixed. All right, so I've done a Seafoam treatment on the motor. I'm gonna go ahead and try and start it now. Hopefully this fixes things. I've also stuck a bore scope down there before and after, so that I can see everything. I'm probably gonna do that if this fixes it as well, just to see the difference that it made. But it's looking kind of promising. I was able to see some dark carbon chunks in there, so hopefully this frees that up and I have compression again and this thing will run. But we'll see. After this unsuccessful Seafoam treatment, I ended up doing another ATF treatment where I let the ATF sit in the engine for a day for each face, and it ended up having the same result of doing effectively nothing. So I'm just going to spare you from watching that, as it looks exactly the same as what you see here, and it ended up having no benefit anyways. Alright, so last resort test, because I just want to know for sure if this thing's shot, if I need to rebuild this engine. Bit the bullet, bought a rotary compression tester. I'm going to go ahead and use it. Anything below a 20 psi reading is basically nothing. The lowest it will read is 20 psi. And it's also possible that if there's nothing, it doesn't give me any reading at all. Let's go ahead and do it. Just rip the band-aid off, just get it over with, and see if I need to do more diagnosis or if this is it. I have bad news. The compression tester would not work on the rear rotor. The rotary compression tester guide states, if the crank cycle does not start, you most likely have major apex seal damage and do not have a minimum 20 psi chamber to begin the cranking sequence. I think that's pretty solid evidence. This motor is blown. I'm gonna have to rebuild it. So if that's something you want to see, subscribe to the channel, come back in like 6 months, knowing my upload schedule, and you might see this thing run again. But for now, it's the end of this video. I will see you later. Goodbye.